every single event in a person's life, every single interaction between the forces of duality, your inner world and the outer world, is momentous and synchronous. Everything is a lesson everything is an opportunity for a lesson, is what I'm struggling to convey. Everything. Now, I have a book that's being delivered today, Egyptian Mystics, Seeker of the Way, which is, this author has a lot of written works on Egyptian spiritual technologies. Specifically, the ones I'm familiar with are the very detailed and in-depth revelations of music and how music and the sounds of the various ancient instruments, with the science of sound and how it impacts consciousness. This author has a few works that are incredible and explain that science, that spiritual technology of sound science via music, and how the Egyptians use it in their initiation ceremonies and their daily festivals and rituals and so on and so forth. But this book in particular comes with high accolades, high reviews. It is widely considered this author's best work as far as spiritual technology. And there's a lot of detail. He explains Egyptian alchemy and Sufism, and how ancient Egypt is the origin of alchemy and present-day Sufism. But see, in addition, of course, he's coming from that culture, but not only is ancient Egyptian alchemy the forerunner, the progenitor of Sufism and Islam, and Sufism is just the mystical aspect of Islam. But it is also all the Torah, the Talmud, the Jewish, of course, the Christian. All of this springs from this spiritual technology. All three of what they call the religions of the book, the Abrahamic religions, come from these Egyptian alchemical spiritual sciences and technology. And so this book comes with a lot of high reviews. It is incredible with the information that it reveals. But I want to make the point that how a person's third dimensional harmonic universe number one mental prisons completely will keep you trapped in harmonic universe number one, which is the dimension of absolutes, of low vibrations. And by way of example of the reviews on this book, I'm going to make a lesson for anyone who chooses to take this lesson, whomever needs it. So the book is written by Mustafa Gadala, is an Egyptian-American independent Egyptologist, born in Cairo, Egypt, ancient pursuit, just has all these credentials, and he's from that part of the world, etc., etc. Very passionate, has probably like about 20 different books on ancient Egyptian spiritual practices. So anyway, but this particular book that I have coming today is a highly reviewed, high accolades for that book, possibly the best of this author's work. I'm picking up on the reviews, it seems to me. If you like this kind of material, this book will be certainly worth the price. There's one review. Excellent reading for every Christian. I'd recommend this book to anyone struggling with their faith. More than a coincidence, all based on accurate, true, documented facts. So there was another review. Very enlightening, great book, very enlightening. I definitely plan on reading some of the author's other books. Yes, as I mentioned, he has a lot of other books. I have the ones on music that he wrote. Here's another review. One of the most life-changing books by the greatest writer on Kemetic, which is the Egyptian word for Egyptian. And Kemetic Kim literally means land of the black soil. Okay, and that word in and of itself is the springboard for a lot of negativity within this field of study. Kemetic means land of the black soil. Okay? I'll let you read in between the lines. And then so we're going to continue on. And then we get to the review that I want to make um, mention of and provide this lesson, because this is a person who is choosing negativity, is choosing the path of separation, ego illusion and separation. So right off the bat, this person, Karl Osman, says this descendant of Hyksos calls himself Kimite, Egyptian. So he's using this as a racist would use this descendant of Africa, or this descendant of Iberia, or this descendant of Celtia, which the Hyksos were the progenitors of the Celts of later time. But we won't get into all that. But and I want to make this clear. There is a lot of negativity in this field of study and history. A lot. Okay. But I'm going to tell you, the Hyksos, the white-skinned Egyptians, and because it's all about color. That's literally what it's all about. This person, this review is pathetically negative. It's hateful. It totally misses the point. Okay. But the truth of the matter is, the Hyksos, those extraterrestrials who happen to be white-skinned from the Pleiades, they built the Giza Pyramid Plateau. They built the Great Pyramid, the Sphinx, and so that's it. And it just so happened that the genetic vehicles that they took on were white-skinned. So what? Yes, there were many other pyramids built all throughout the lands of Egypt and whatnot. But what you run into is people who feel entitled. And so I'm going to read this review because it's pathetic, and it's just an example of a negative individual caught up in harmonic universe number one, and with this kind of attitude and fixation upon things that are as superficial and inconsequential as a person's skin, color scheme, because that's all they're doing. They're hating on, yes, there is history of white-skinned people in Egypt and involving the spiritual sciences of that area. So I'm going to read this. This guy is a typical Egyptian. He's got to put it in quotes. As we Nubians, that's racist right there, come to know them throughout the centuries. Yes, as always, he is trying by all means to wipe out Nubians and take over Kimite intellectually and culturally. I'm asking him, is your Arabic language Kimite? This is a misappropriation of the word Kimite. First of all, Karl Osman, is your Arab faith Kimite? Is your Arab state Kimite? This has nothing to do with this book. The person who wrote this book is not promoting Arabic language, Arabic faith, Arabic states. This has nothing to do with that kind of nationalism. This is an example, along with the fundamentalist religious people and their promulgation of the lies of sin, original sin, that we're all sinners, and that only Jesus the Christ can save us from that sin. This is more of that same kind of negativity right here. And everything is an example. A lesson is an opportunity for a lesson, including Amazon reviews. So I continue. Give one example of ancient Kemet. He spells it like a frog, like it's a frog. Way of life in your Arabian way of life. It's so funny when he characterizes people are today's Egyptians as sophists, and they are leaders of Arab world culture Islam. This book has nothing to do with Islam except for the fact that Sufism, that the modern, or the alchemists, as Egyptian alchemists, to survive, and when Islam took over that part of the world and was putting everybody at the sword, they bowed their knee to survive and keep their traditions alive under the guise of Sufism, Muslim mystics. And so that's all this book is talking about, is showing how they were able to keep and preserve the ancient Egyptian alchemic teachings by saying that they were Muslim mystics, Sufis. And this guy's totally going off and trying to make this into some kind of nationalistic statement. And all he's doing is it for himself. As for this book, it's typical Euro-Arab-centric garbage. Guy calls it garbage. He doesn't even probably own the book. He's just going off because the guy has an Arab name, and he's whatever his definition of Nubian is. So this is just more pathetic, the kind of evil that's in this world. I'm sorry, you are not entitled for any kind of hatred or racism because of the color of your skin. Not at all. I'll call that out just as well as any other kind of mental aberration. And you can take that to the bank.
Namaste, namaskaram.
Yeah, I'm on fire.